Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, 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 welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. If you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you. My name is Kate, and I make ASMR content. So, filming very lo-fi, just on my phone today. I just moved. So I don't know where anything is. Anything is microphone included. I just got off work. It's a little after midnight. It is New Year's Eve. So it's December 30th, or technically December 31st, because it's after midnight, but I just really wanted to sit down and film something because it's been almost 2 weeks because I moved and Christmas, and so I'm just going to be talking through some films I watched this year that stick out to me. Not necessarily my favorites. And a lot of these are not new. They did not come out this year. Just movies I watched this year. So yeah, just gonna be talking about movies I watched in 2023. I was gonna do a books video, but honestly, I only read 14 books this year, and a lot of them I didn't feel very strongly about. It was a weird reading year for me. I was really busy with school. 14 might sound like a lot, but for reference, for those of you that were not part of my channel last year, I read somewhere around 80 books last year. So the 14 is like, it's just been a crazy year. I'm not going to talk too much and ramble because I'm going to do an life update soon, but I just wanted to talk about my favorite films of the year, or just notable films I watched, not all favorites. Let me know what you guys watched this year. I also am really excited to watch some new movies. I know I'm going to see Iron Claw in theaters tomorrow night. I plan on seeing Poor Things. I plan on seeing Saltburn. I plan on seeing Maestro, to name a few. So hopefully I can get some movie reviews out to you soon. But let's talk. I don't know if I gave anything 5 stars this year, because actually that's not true. I don't give 5 stars out very lightly. Sorry, I'm on my laptop. I have my Letterboxd account in front of me, which I can link it if you guys want to follow me on Letterboxd. It looks like you guys, I only had 2 5-star films this whole year. That's crazy. Okay, number 1, I will tell you, my favorite film of the year that was new to me was Goodfellas. Goodfellas is obviously not new. I believe it came out in the 90s. Let's take a peek. 1990. It is like notably Scorsese's best film. It's most popular. Robert De Niro in the very beginning. If you guys don't know, Goodfellas is basically about the mob, crime families. It was incredible. I never thought I'd like a movie like that, but my boyfriend liked it, and he was watching it one day. Like, it was like the morning after I'd stayed the night at his house. He put it on because he liked watching it. I was planning to eat breakfast with him and go home, and I got sucked into this like nearly 3-hour film, and it was so incredible. I remember the ending, like my jaw just hanging open, and it had been so long since I felt that way about a movie. So it made a huge impression on me, and it sits comfortably as one of my favorite movies of all time. So that was my first 5-star film of the year, and I watched that early in the year, like in April, maybe March, and I really want to rewatch it soon. The other 5-star I gave out this year was A Few Good Men. Also not new, just new to me. A Few Good Men came out in 92. It is a court drama film that takes place like in the military. It's like a crime in the military, and the attorney is played by Tom Cruise. And it's super great. I really enjoyed it. It was really dramatic. Some really iconic lines, some really great work from Jack Nicholson. It made me feel excited about being an attorney soon. Oh, after tomorrow, I can say I'm graduating this year. That's crazy. Anyways, loved A Few Good Men, loved Goodfellas. Those are my favorite films of the year. Obviously, neither of them came out. Favorite films for me. Okay, next, let's talk through some of the 4-star new movies. New to me, because I have a lot of rewatches this year that I rate highly. But recently, I watched May December with Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore on Netflix. This movie was a lot. It was very strange. If you don't know, it's based on a true story, and I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but it's about a woman who basically like had an affair. She molested this kid, like a teenager, when she was like a grown woman in her like 40s or something, 30s, 40s, and they started a relationship and they got married and had children and stuff, and like she went to prison, and it's crazy. Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore are incredible. This film knocked my socks off. I really liked it. It was a little bit uncomfortable on some points. I think it was meant to be, but like the pacing was a little bit weird for me personally, which is why I didn't give it 5 stars, but I really liked it, and I definitely think it'll be a rewatch for me in 2024. I also watched a lot of really good interviews with Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore after, because I was so fascinated by the film. And I think it's one of those where it'll have a lot of like things I missed in it that'll be good on a rewatch. Okay. Okay, another 4-star that I watched for the first time this year, Rosemary's Baby. Now, I think Rosemary's Baby is from the 60s. It's an old Hitchcock horror film. I loved it. I'm a big horror buff, as many of you may know, and I don't know how I went this long without watching Rosemary's Baby, but oh my god. I was just in shock the entire time I was watching. I was literally watching it like such incredible acting, such a cool storyline, very creepy, very eerie. For as early as it was pretty graphic and intense, and I really liked it. And I think a lot of people talk about how it doesn't hold up today because of gender roles, etc. I think it holds up very well today. I really liked it. So on that same vein, another horror movie I loved this year was Pearl. I watched X last year, and I think I talked about X in a video last year, but Pearl was the prequel. Mia Goth, incredible. I really liked Pearl. I liked this backstory, I think, even more than I liked X. I was just super entertained, and I like felt bad for her. You like if a film can get you to root for the villain, that's how you know it's good character development. It's a good story. I really liked it. It was appropriately terrifying, without being too much. Let's see. Letterboxd. Oh, okay. Not me acting surprised at the movies that I watched this year. Casino, I gave 4 stars. Another Scorsese, This one's from 95. Honestly, I think the reason that I gave it 4 stars instead of 5 is because it was really long and it did drag in parts. It did drag in parts. But this is another mob kind of film starring Robert De Niro. It's what Scorsese does best, right? I really, really liked it. I think I would like to rewatch this at some point because I think I've forgotten some things from it, but I really liked it. I liked the like exciting feel that it gave me while I was watching it, and that sort of like oh god, like you know something terrible is gonna happen. Scorsese's really good at that. Really liked it. Again, this is a rec for my boyfriend. He's killing it. I was pumped. Well, another movie that I'll talk about that he recommended to me, I hated this year, so you know, hit and miss. Okay. I think, okay, just a couple more that were new watches for me this year that I loved. The first one being No Hard Feelings. This did come out this year, starring Jennifer Lawrence. We actually saw it in theaters, and it's about basically these parents of a teenage boy hire a woman to date and take the virginity of their awkward teenage son before he goes to college. That's the premise. It's goofy. Jennifer Lawrence does a full frontal nude scene in this film, which I was not expecting. It's funny, it's lighthearted, there's like some good lessons in it, there's good acting in it. I've seen a lot of mixed reviews about it, but I really enjoyed it. We were laughing out loud in the theater, and I feel like that's like all that you can ask for from a comedy. So next was Air. This was the like Nike film about like Michael Jordan and like the Nike collab starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Honestly, I saw a lot of mixed reviews on this too, but I love Matt Damon and Ben Affleck together so much. Hello, Good Will Hunting. And I like sports. I like Nike. I just really liked the like retelling of this, and their characters is based on what actually happened. And I really enjoyed it. Again, saw this in the theater. I feel like films feel better and like more quality when you see them in the theater, such as me. But really liked it. And then, okay, 2 more that stood out that I loved this year. Next is Up in the Air. This came out in 2009. It's George Clooney and Anna Kendrick. And basically, it's about George Clooney plays a man who constantly travels. He doesn't like have any love in his life. His whole life is about his job. And Anna Kendrick kind of helps him see that there's more to life than just that. And there's not a romantic plot between George Clooney and Anna Kendrick. There is some romantic plots in the film, but it's not between them. I just liked it. I laughed. It made me feel something. I think it had a lot to say. And, you know, it was just a feel-good movie. I really, really liked this one. I would also like to rewatch it. Okay, and last one I really liked this year was Sideways, starring Paul Giamatti. This is from 2004. This is one of the first movies I watched this year, so I'm like having to remind myself. Okay, it's 2 middle-aged men. So that's 2 middle-aged men embark on a spiritual journey through Californian wine country. Yeah, one's about to get married and one is super depressed and unwell. And they meet some women on the way and things get a little crazy. It's sort of like a friendship adventure type of story. And I really enjoyed this one. It just it felt really real. Like I felt like I knew the characters and I felt like I wanted to be friends with them. So I really enjoyed that. Okay, now I will talk about some of the films that stood out to me that I did not like. Actually, first I want to talk about one film that I rewatched this year that I totally was surprised by, even though I'd seen it before. So I decided to rewatch Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems. Do you guys remember that? You know what I'm talking about? I decided to rewatch Uncut Gems. I first watched it in 2020, right after it came out, and did not enjoy it at all. I didn't get it, wasn't into it, was bored, didn't like it. Whatever, moved on. Then this past month, this month, I read Julia Fox's Down the Drain, her memoir. And in it, Julia Fox is in Uncut Gems. She's like the female lead, alongside Adam Sandler, the GOAT. And she talks about Uncut Gems in her book. And I was so taken by her book. I really love Julia Fox. And I thought, I'm going to try to watch this again and see, maybe I like it, or at least watch it to really kind of take in Julia Fox. Because I didn't know who she was until she did Uncut Gems. Now I'm a big fan of her. I follow her. So I thought, let's see her in action. I loved Uncut Gems. I don't know what I was on the first time. I just must not have been in the right mood, headspace. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention. This film is 2 hours of pure anxiety. My butt cheeks were clenched. I was sweating. And I knew how it ended. I remembered how it ended, but still I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. If you don't know, stars Adam Sandler. He plays like a very, very severe gambler, like sports bettor. He bets on basketball because, you know, every character played by Adam Sandler has to be obsessed with basketball. And he has this like thick New York accent, which I love. And he basically just gets himself into deeper and deeper and deeper trouble. And instead of saving himself, he always does the wrong thing every single time. And the whole time you're watching, you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Also, Idina Menzel plays his wife, which is iconic. I just really, really, really loved it. And I only gave it 4 stars just because it was a rewatch and the first time I hated it. But I could see this becoming a 5-star film for me, maybe in another watch. I love the Safdie brothers. I loved Good Time, which was created by the Safdie brothers, which is one of my favorites of all time. I love A24. There's just a lot of things that are right for me in this film. So I'm glad I gave it another chance. Okay, now let's talk about the movies from this year that were bad, that I especially did not like. Okay, my most recent film that I attempted and could not make it through, such an unpopular opinion, was Scarface. You guys, the pacing in this film is terrible, boring. Like, there would be like a lot of action and then nothing would happen for 20 minutes. A big action scene, nothing. Like, it was all over the place and it's so long. I think we made it halfway through and I was just like, I can't do it. Usually if I've invested that much time in, you know, I'll see it through and finish it. I could not finish this film. And I know it's a cult classic and I know everybody loves it, but like, I hated it. I just could not do it. Excuse me, it's past my bedtime. So that was a no for me. I also watched Xmas, starring Leighton Meester and what's his name? Robbie something? Robbie Amell. New Christmas movie that came out this year. It was bad. It was bad. Just another bad, cheesy Christmas movie. Pretty bad. Nothing else to say. Okay. Not notable not notable. I watched Blue Valentine with Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams, and I despised it. I thought they had no chemistry. None. No chemistry. And, like, it reminded me of, like, A Marriage Story with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson, where the entire time you're just like, this is horrible. It's just two people that don't belong together, that just, like, ruin each other's lives. And it is a mess to see on screen. No redeeming qualities. And also, Ryan Gosling isn't even hot in this, believe it or not. And honestly, I don't think I really like Michelle Williams. Sad to say it. I don't really like anything she's in. Let me know if you like Michelle Williams and if you have a good recommendation for me, because every time I see her, I'm like, oh, like, I think she just brings a film down. Or maybe she just picks bad films. I'm not a fan. Next, okay, Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson. And this is an A24 film. I've been working through trying to watch every A24 film ever. I think I've got like 40 or so, and there's over 100, so we're getting there. But hated this. I hated this. This was like a sci-fi thriller. Scarlett Johansson plays like an alien who like murders men or something. The whole time I was watching it in disbelief at like, I can't believe this is happening. I just was like, what's going on? I just don't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I don't want to watch it ever again. This is one of the worst films I've ever watched. I gave it half a star. I'll usually don't give half a stars to anything unless I couldn't even make it through. This might be like the only film ever that I actually watched the whole thing and gave it half a star. I couldn't stop watching it because I kept waiting for something to happen, and just it never happened. The climax was not worth the wait. Next is The Watcher. So, not the show, the film. It's basically a woman who like moves into an apartment with her husband. The husband's gone all day, she's at working, and she thinks a guy from across the street is watching her, staring at her, stalking her. No one believes her. I honestly hate the storyline of like, woman's being stalked by a crazy person. She tells everyone that loves her tells her she's a crazy person. Woman dies. You know why? Because the crazy person killed her. Because everybody thinks women are insane. And every time I see this, like, I hate this trope in horror movies. It's boring. It's outplayed. I'm sick of it. I don't want to see it anymore. Please, I'm begging. I don't want to see it. And this movie was slow. It was boring. It was a snooze fest. And it had a good climax at the end, but, like, at what cost? Not a fan. I also did not enjoy Honey Boy, Shia LaBeouf. I wanted to, okay? I really, really wanted to like this. I think the reason I watched this, I listened to a podcast with Shia LaBeouf or some sort of interview or something talking about Honey Boy. It made me want to watch it. And it is a story about a kid who's like a child actor, and his dad is like an alcoholic, and I guess it's like loosely based on Shia LaBeouf's life. Shia LaBeouf wrote it and stars in it, and let me tell you something, skip it. There were a couple of good scenes, but like overall, it felt really like self-important and like it was trying to like shove a message down your throat. And it was like a little bit overacted, and I just didn't vibe with it, obviously. So I do not recommend Honey Boy. Next film that I do not recommend, which this was really disappointing for me because there's a couple of iconic women that star in this, and that is Julianne Moore, and Amanda Seyfried. And this is about like Julianne Moore plays a concerned wife who hires Amanda Seyfried as she's a prostitute, like hires her to seduce her husband to basically prove that the husband's cheating on her. But then it gets fucking weird. This film did not make any sense to me. It was all over the place. It just felt like a mess. It didn't feel realistic, even in the slightest. Didn't feel believable. The characters didn't, like, they weren't fleshed out. Like, I kind of just felt like nothing was going on. It felt like an hour and a half long preview, if that makes sense. It was just all over the place. I didn't know what was going on. It was boring. It just lacked something, some meat, you know? Okay. Okay, I think there's only one more film this year that I watched and literally despised, that I thought was horrible, and I am going to give that to The Joker, the one with Joaquin Phoenix in 2019. This film was so disturbing that it made me feel sick to my stomach, but not in a way that I ever want to feel when I'm watching a movie. I was so uncomfortable during this film. I almost turned it off several times, and I only finished it for the sake of being able to really gather my thoughts on it as a whole. I just hated it. I hated how it made me feel. I hated the idea of it. I hated that, like, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix did a great job. There were some really cool shots. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was a bad movie. I just hated it, and I felt uncomfortable to a point where, like, I don't want to feel like that when I'm watching a movie. I don't want to feel like that when I'm watching a movie. Any of you that have watched it will know what I mean. And some people love it for that same reason, but it's not for me. So, with that being said, those are all of the standout films that I watched in 2023. I would love to start doing this with films and books again, monthly. TV shows, perhaps. This past year was a weird year. I was busier than I've ever been in my life with school, work, etc. And I just was not consuming the same amount of media as I typically like to do. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you are staying safe, happy, and healthy. And if you're still there and you haven't yet, please leave me a movie recommendation down below in the comments. And also please subscribe if you've made it this far and you're not subscribed. Bye, guys.